بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والسلام عليكم جميعا. أنا اسمي نسرين اللحام، قائم بأعمال ممثل المعهد الدولي لإدارة المياه في منطقة الشرق الأوسط وشمال إفريقيا. يسعدني التواجد معكم والتعاون مع مؤتمر الخليج الرابع عشر للمياه بتنظيم جمعية علوم وتقنية المياه الخليجية. ويسعد المعهد الدولي لإدارة المياه تقديم دورة تدريبية بعنوان مبادئ المحاسبة المائية والدروس المستفادة، وإن شاء الله تكون هذه الدورة بداية لتعاون أكبر في المستقبل. هأدي تقديم بسيط، نبذة سريعة عن المعهد الدولي لإدارة المياه، هقدمه باللغة الإنجليزية. Some overview, a general overview of the International Water Management Institute, or what we call it IWMI, is a think tank conducting research to generate innovative water solutions for sustainable development, being on three main pillars. Regarding food, to improve food security while sustainability, managing water resources and ecosystem. Regarding to climate, to adapt to mitigate climate change while building resilience to water-related disasters and disruption. And on growth, to reduce poverty and advance inclusion with equity. IWMI is the lead center for CJAR research program on water, land, and ecosystems. And for those who don't know CJAR is a global partnership that unites international organizations engaged in research about food security, with its mission being to deliver science and innovation that advance the transformation of food, land, and water systems in a climate crisis, with the optimum vision or objective to end hunger by 2030. So IWMI's main mission is to contribute to the 6th development goal in the MENA region. IWMI works on 4 main pillars. The first pillar is producing evidence-based research on different topics on water accounting, water auditing, water profitability, on water energy food nexus guidelines to generate more crop per drop and more crop per kilowatt, managing risks of climate change, drought, and salinity, on scaling innovations, digital tools, and innovative business models. This is to create development impact, and the research agenda is based on the demand of national and regional partners. We have many bilateral projects we work on, one of them being the ReWater MENA project, a regional project to mainstream the reuse of treated wastewater in the region, implemented in 3 countries, in Jordan, Lebanon, and Egypt. Other projects also we have on water energy food nexus, a regional hub, MENA regional hub, to boost the agricultural business for innovators and small and medium enterprises to produce more food with less energy and less water. These are by consortium of donors in the region, and we always approach our partners and on national and international level to seek their demands and to apply this research to have this development impact as mentioned. The second pillar we work on is policy reform, to inform policy on national and regional levels on the enabling environment, national policy and regulatory system, on water subsidies, water subsidies reform, and water reuse, how we can mainstream this approach in the region, on integrated policies on the national level between different sectors, and integration between the regional and national levels, also how we may align these strategies and policies from the regional level to the national level, and how we may also have some investment strategies regarding the water energy food nexus. To create policy change, we organize science policy dialogues, science policy seminars, we produce also policy briefs using some foresight decision-making tools for the uptake partners as well. And we recently had our science policy dialogue on water reuse in the region, and we'll have the second one with the League of Arab States in May 2022. The third pillar we work on is capacity building, to strengthen institutional capacities on tools and concepts, mainly on water accounting, water auditing, water reuse, nexus approach and tools, and the governance system, and also on adaptation measures and adaptation policies. This is to create a pool of experts in all these disciplines, and also to enhance the change in the region regarding policies, regarding the capacities that would inform the policy, and have this experts, pool of experts as mentioned. We conduct training workshops, field visits, sharing lessons learned from within the region and from outside the region. The fourth pillar we work on is advocacy and raising awareness to the public, mainly on water and environment, on water reuse and model technology. We work also on digital tools in irrigation with farmers, digital tool on mobile, how we can have more water productivity on farm level, and we intend also to include the fertilizers usage as well in this application. These advocacy activities would enhance the change of the mindset of the public, for instance, on reuse of treated wastewater and other issues. And we create some innovative communication products, engaging with the media, having some videos to mainstream all these approaches and all these tools. This is in brief, and I hope we can also collaborate on other workshops, other topics. You see that IWMI can provide support on some projects as well. We are happy to collaborate, and our dear friend Dr. Walid Zubari, we are also collaborating under the League of Arab States. We have this regional platform outreach through the FAO Water Scarcity Initiative with the League of Arab States and the technical bodies on water, food and energy. And for the national level, we have the entry points as the sustainable development goals and indices of the countries. So we may contribute in this and have some good impact on country level and on regional level as well. This is in brief about the International Water Management Institute. It's really a pleasure to be with you today, and I hope you'll find this workshop informative and beneficial for you. And now I hand over to my colleague, Dr. Marwa, to present to you the training session agenda, and then go on with the training. Thank you again.
شكرا دكتورة نسرين. المقدمة الجميلة، والحمد لله تكونوا عرفتوا شوية عن إيمي. مروة علي، أنا باحث في إدارة المياه، إدارة الموارد المائية والمحاسبة المائية في إيمي. والنهارده أنا عارفة إن النهارده آخر يوم، النهارده بعد الغداء، فإن شاء الله إحنا تقريبا 13 participants، من ضمنهم إحنا المقدمين، فإن شاء الله تكون يعني تدريب خفيف عليكم، ويكون يعني تتفاعلوا معاه، لان التدريب دايما تفاعل. هو هنحاول احنا بعاد عن بعض، بس هنحاول نبقى برضو كاننا في نفس الغرفه سوا. سؤال بس استاذه شهد، باشمهندسه شهد، هل ينفع الحاضرين يقدروا يتكلموا لو عملوا انميوت للمايك بتاعهم؟ طب حد يحاول يعمل من البارتيسيبانتس او
مساك الله بالخير. مساك الله بالخير دكتورة، كلنا نقدر نتكلم ونقدر نفتح الفيديو. شكرا على كل شيء، واسفة.
لا تمام، كويس ان انت يعني في تفاعل اهو شويه. هبتدي الاول بالاجنده بتاعتنا. احنا المفروض عندنا 3 ساعات، ان شاء الله يكونوا خفاف عليكم، ممكن نزود كمان لو حبيتوا. دكتورة نسرين عرضت مقدمة عن الإيمي، وأنا هكمل الباقي. عبارة عن إن إحنا بنتكلم عن إيه هي المحاسبة المائية، هنمشي خطوات فيها بحيث إنك تبتدوا تعرفوا لما تسمعوا كلمة المحاسبة المائية، الووتر أكاونتنج أو الووتر جفرنس أو أناليسيس أو الووتر أوديتنج، اللي هي مبادئ الحوكمة أو تحليل الحوكمة المياه. ده برضو تبتدوا تعرفوا هو بيحصل ازاي وايه الخطوات بتاعته، وهل ليه خطوات ثابته ولا لا، كل ده هنعرفه في خلال التدريب. هندي شويه اكسرسايزز كده تبقى انتراكشن مع بعض، هنعرف نتناقش مع بعض. بعديها هناخد بريك للصلاه ان شاء الله، او بريك تريحوا شويه. بعدين هنرجع تاني ندخل تاني برضو في خطوات المحاسبه المائيه، وبعد كده التمارين، وهنختم بايه يعني. ايمي ليها مجال كبير في المحاسبه المائيه، فاحنا هنلخص لكم المجال ده في ايه التشالنجز او ايه التحديات الرئيسيه اللي واجهتنا في خلال تنفيذنا للمشاريع، وايه الدروس المستفاده. وكمان نبذه عن، علشان ما نتقلش بقى عليكم، نبذه عن تحليل الحوكمه المائيه، ونختم بدسكشن ان شاء الله لطيف. هبتدي معاكم باول سلايد. ايه هي المحاسبه المائيه؟ كلكم شايفين السلايد كده كويس صح؟
Sorry, doctor, can you hear me? Hello?
نعم. ممكن بس
Yeah.
تقول اسمك؟ اوكي.
Yeah, doctor, can you just give the presentation in English or is it in Arabic? Sorry, I'm not an Arabic speaker, so my apologies. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Absolutely. Okay, no problem.
Sorry about that.
So,
yeah.
no, it's okay. I think, I hope everybody's okay with that. I can't see any responses. Could you please?
We're fine, Dictora. If everyone is
okay,
fine.
that's okay. So, thank you, Sra, for your interaction. So the definition, there is a lot of definition about water accounting, but water accounting itself, what it's about. It's about knowing the hydrological cycles around you, knowing the extremes, be prepared actually for the extremes and climate change, knowing your users, their difficulties or their challenges, or and knowing if there is opportunity or if there is a problem or a challenge, you can have alternative for it. This is kind for sustainability. So, as I said before, there's many definitions for water accounting, but the most now popular or adopted now, it's what is FAO produced in its source book, which said that water accounting can be defined as a systematic and quantified as well, quantitative as well, assessment of the status and the trend of water supply, demand, distribution, accessibility. So all pillars related to water, and use it in a specified domain. Domain means that it doesn't mean that it's the whole country, not the whole continent, and we will see after how to choose our domain. And produce information that informs both water science, management, governance, to support sustainable development outcomes for their society and the environment. So in general, it gives you the holistic view of the water status, whatever, demand, supply, everything related to water. It's a status, it's a trend around temporal years or seasons. So this is the definitions that adopted by FAO. But if you go for another sources, or if you search for water accounting definition, you will find many, many definitions about it. So, as I said, why we use water accounting? Why we wanted to have water accounting? Because we want to make awareness for people who use water, who use the resources. Once you provide them to make awareness about the stages they have, maybe you get better interaction with them. So if there is a difficulties, they need to know about that. So they can be aware how to use it in efficient way, or how to act upon like an extreme circumstances. So awareness with all your audience, and they can understand what you talk about. not very technical, and also to be as a water responsible person, whoever in government or a higher level, to give your users and the investor as well the confidence that they have from the information they have from you. So on that, they can invest in trust and consistent and reliable way. So the users and investors can use it also in this context. And also inform water resources management and planning process about the whole issues, the whole steps. In most of our areas, that this water sectors is divided from ministries, agencies. So everyone has a piece that we don't know the whole view at least. So you want also to make it transparency. There is a transparency for all sectors, what they have, what they can give, what we can help, how they can help each other, and also highlights the gaps. So there is an issue in this domain, and there is a gap. So you can highlight the gaps, you can prioritize even the gaps. So, and allow them to improve this, allow them to improve the situation by better management, by better, have like alternatives that was talking with the stakeholders or actors to see what is the best for them. And also provide decision maker and set of policy options. So after you have done your water accounting exercise, you give a set of policy or options to increase the capacity to cope with water scarcity, because we are actually in the most scarce area for water. So in conclusion, so as I said, you have like puzzles, you have puzzle pieces. By have a good network, by having a network of knowledge with a good team and a good collaboration, you came for the information, the whole view of the picture. Are you with me? For the moment, it's time for a little bit quiz, if you are still with me. If you have your phone, I would say, I would say that please scan this QR code. Or go to Mentimeter, I will put it in the chat, and type this code. Everyone can have this, can do that. Everyone got the question? Please don't act for the question for the moment.
Yes, I scanned the code and it worked. There was one question, right?
Yes, indeed. Everyone? Okay, I hope so. So let's go for this question. Okay, you already got the, we have three now. Three participants already replied to the questions. What about the others? Okay. I don't know your names, so you can push the button, you can do it freely. I just see numbers, as you can see. You can see that, yeah, thank you. Don't worry, don't be afraid that anyone will quote you. Okay, I think have the participants got the right way. It's not one-step procedures. It's very huge. It's not one-step procedures that you can do it at once. Thank you for your participating. Next part, I hope that there are some people willing to participate more. So the next question, please go again to Mentimeter and type this code. I will put it in the chat box, or scan your QR code and directly you go to the second questions. I will go there. So maybe I will help you to read the questions if you are reading from your mobile. I have 4 options. So all are right except one. I need this one to see this is not the right answer. So water accounting may aid in the identification of cross-sector water. We can't plan or manage what we can't measure. Water accounting alone can solve the problems. Water accounting promotes integration and transparency. I will give you a minute to think about it.
You want us to select the one that is not right, correct? The
yes,
wrong one.
The wrong one. Yes. Three out of 10 participants, please.
Dictora, it's not on the same barcode, right? Or it's the same barcode?
No, it's not the QR code. I will back again for the presentation. Please scan for this QR.
Okay.
Okay, the last 30 seconds. Any other thoughts about these questions? Okay, thank you for who is participating, and hope for who couldn't, please join us for the next quiz. Okay, that's great. So we have different answers. Let us go through each one. So all are right except one. Was it? Water accounting may aid in the identification of cross-sector water. I said before that water accounting and definition, it's about going and know your users and help each other to be transparent, to help each other for finding the gaps and make it sustainable for every user. So apparently this is not the wrong answer, or this is not the right answer in this question, because it's water accounting really help the cross sectors or all water sectors to find gaps and to try to have alternative for solutions. The second one, we can't plan or manage what we can't measure. As a majority are Arab, let me Abrar say it just in Arabic. It said احنا ما نعرفش نخطط ولا ندير حاجه مش عارفينها او حاجه مش قادرين نشوفها. المحاسبه المائيه هي حاجه بتخليك يعني تعرف كمان في التعريف بتاعنا، احنا بنقول كمان التعريف الكمي للميه اللي عندك او لحجم الميه اللي عندك، سواء السبلاي، سواء الديماند، سواء الوصول ليها، سواء الانفراستراكشر بتاعتك. فهي الاجابه هنا لا، هي صح، لان احنا ما نقدرش نقيس حاجه او ما نقدرش نخطط لحاجه احنا مش عارفين ماهيتها ايه، سواء كميتها او كيفيتها. Majority got it right. Water accounting alone can solve the problems. No, it can give you alternatives to solve for solutions, but it can't also give you the complete solution or the complete answer. You have like other aids that will help you to figure out the solutions and help you to make it more sustainable. The fourth one, it's promote integration and transparency. We say it in why, because when you know what you have with all users, you share what you have with other users, you are your partners, then you have like integration between partners and also transparency. Thank you all. I will go for the presentation mode again. So our first question in the quiz, that is it one-step procedures? Well, most of you already said no, it's not. Exactly, it's not. And in the FAO source book, they said they put this graph to help us how to figure out. So I think maybe I have this kind of, let me check. I want just to like a cursor. I'm not sure if I I'm not sure if I did it in the right way. It's not annotation. Okay, so let me check this. So it's kind of steps, and each steps is a cycle. So kind of repeat like a cycle. You finish the first cycle, you put the second cycle and third and so on. With going with the cycles, you increasing the confidence about your water accounting system. So by doing that, every step by steps, every procedures, you improve yourself, you improve your knowledge about your system, you improve the trust, or you're building a good team that's able to put like a systematic water accounting report, and also increasing evidence and knowledge by this journey. So the first cycle, we called it rapid water accounting, which is from its name, it's very rough. It just give you information about what you have. You don't need to do like extra effort to dig more about this issue. But what you have now, let's put it in the table and see what we have and what we can do. And from this point, we can have further improvement based on this rapid water accounting. So this rapid water accounting is based on secondary data. You don't need more like expert skills, or you don't need like very fine skills like programming or something like that. So in this stage, you only depend on what you have. So we started with the rapid water accounting, which is RWA, the first cycle. And I think it should be this one eliminated. I'm not sure why, sorry. So with rapid water accounting, you have like 4 questions in this first cycle. You have what? To identify your issue, measure concern, achievement, what you wanted to do by this rapid water accounting, what you wanted to achieve by the end of this cycle, and who. What is the core of this team? So it's multidisciplinary team, water accounting team. So let's do the basic. We need from here, we need from there, maybe further, we need from other agencies. But for the basic, we need just reform or create a team that can be able to do this job. And where? What I said is specify a domain. So water accounting, it's not like a fixed domain. You need it for this grid or you need it for this country. No, it's very flexible. You can do it in over a small area or over large area. And support. You need support in this in this stage, and building partnerships with people, with water users. So I will go through one by one and let's see. So what? The first of all, the leading actor have a meeting. The leading actor, I mean the ministry who has the most information about water, who is leading the water in the country, for instance. Or not the ministry, if we go for a little bit like a department that, you know, you wanted you figure out the importance of the rapid water accounting or the water accounting itself, and you wanted to proceed with producing water accounting reports. So in what this leading actor meeting need to define what information needed for rapid water accounting, what information we have and we don't need to get to, we don't need to dig for it. And what is the time decided for implementation for this rapid water accounting. You can't say it 1 month, you can't say it like 10 years. You needed a fixed time, that you plan a fixed time, that of course with the flexibility of risk management, but I mean that you have in your mind a certain time that I need to finish this in 6 months or 1 year. So to be able to figure out what I have. And what could be happen, this is what I'm saying, that risk, that you know that maybe like we have now pandemic, so this pandemic hindering a lot of activities. So it's not usual, but I mean that even if we go for an area that it's already explored for floods, so what could be happen? So we need to cut out like this floods time, so we will postpone our activities in that time. And what is the facilities could be provided? How are as a leading, and we took the initiation to implement water accounting, what kind of facilities that we can provide to the team? And what is the monitoring evaluation? How we can set a monitoring for these 6 months, as I said before, or 1 year, whatever they decided. How can we monitoring this progress? Shall we give them that like report for each month, report for 2 weeks, report or what? Not even reporting. Once it happens, just give us a meeting or something like that. So you need also to set a monitoring evaluation about the progress in rapid water account. This is about your team. So you need the team to form your rapid water accounting. So first of all, you need a team that enthusiastic and believe in this, or at least know what is it, and believe that this is going for better. So you need people who wanted to be actively involved all over the process. And you need to have among the team, all the team members have the knowledge and the skills about this issue or this domain. And also they had at least one of them has good communication with other relevant institutions, has good communication about partners, because as I told you, it's a multidisciplinary team. And you might need someone that is not he is not or she is not in your institution as a leading institution, this skill, this member of team is going, it's coming from another institution. So you need your team member to have a good connection with partnerships, and also open-minded and culturally open for, or have a good background to communicate with each other, even if they are from different backgrounds or different institutions. Where this is what I keep saying, your domain, your domain, your domain. So either you have, either you can put it in a country level or in continent level as well, or you have a complete river system, river basin, you wanted to do water accounting on it, or village, or here it's a schemes, irrigation schemes, that you want to just to apply your water accounting in irrigation schemes that you think that there is something need to be done there. And also in the field, even a small field for a farmer that you think that maybe this is a good pilot area to do your first rapid water accounting. So the flexibility of water accounting show you that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your domain. You want this and you can apply that. And support. I mentioned before that it's a collaboration. Water accounting is a collaboration between institutions. Everyone related to water should be involved. So you can build the trust, you can build the reliability, you can build the transparency. So you need support. So you need support because, as I said, that in most of the world, actually, not even in our areas, that some information about water users are scattered. It's not only in one institutions. It's in everything from ministry or from agency. So you need to know that you need to identify your source of information. So you started to build partnerships with some institutions you believe or you know that they have necessary information that you don't sorry, I got confused. That you don't need, how to say, you don't need to dig it, or you don't need to have it. And there is another institution similar, and also you can tell your team, find if there is another institution done a rapid water accounting or have a water accounting, so we can improve, or we can share they can share experience. And also you need financial support, because some activities need financial. You need to go to the field. So you need fuels, you need cars, you need like technicians to give you the data. All this needs fund. So, and raise awareness. And raise awareness between people. So there is a support. You need support actually from many people, from many sectors, or from many other actors or stakeholders like NGOs, private sector, building capacity, government institutions, and also users. In some areas there are user association, that there are a representative for the user, for the farmer, for instance, to provide you, they have a good influence, and they can share with you information that you needed, and you can't get it directly. So if we go for case studies, so in general, we know all that we have information somehow, even it's not that good, but we have information for that. And it ends up for the right pictures, that everyone is collecting and keep it's the information they have for themselves. So you have a good pictures, but it's scattered. You need to have the complete view for it. So information acquisition about Riyadh. I will stop here just for taking questions or taking any discussion point before I go for the other for this another part of the presentation. So anyone needs to say something?
Just a quick question, Doctor. What is the most challenging part in all these three parts that you've seen practically when implementing in projects? What's the most challenging
which
part?
Which you mean? For what?
Which part of the water accounting cycle is the most challenging? Is it what, who, where, or support? Which cycle? Which part? Yeah.
I think it depends. It depends on your where you are. It depends in either you have a good leading actor, and this is, I think, the most challenge. Once you have the support from the most leading actor, I think everything is going to make it not like very easy, but smoother, because you have a powerful or an actor behind you who supports you in every mean, in financial, in the teams, in the facilities you want. That's it. I think this is from my point of view. However, from the experience I have, that sometimes the where is the most challenges, and sometimes in some countries we work, the support where the most challenges. We can't go and connect with each other because the political situation of the countries, for instance. I hope this is answer to your questions.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other thing? Okay, so I will continue with information acquisition. So we have we formed the team. The leading actors started to form the team, and they know their skills and everything. Try to fulfill what I said. So there is kind of approach how to make this information available. We have a lot of information. How we can classify it to make it easier to analyze. This is, I think, this is the most appropriate way to say it. So there is an approach called RIDA, and RIDA means resources, infrastructure, demand, and access. And this is kind of resources and infrastructure, demand, and access perform RIDA framework. Let's go for that. Resources, to define what resources you have. The water flow could be precipitation, it could be other things. Some people are only depending, like most of Gulf areas, depending on desalination and not depending, for instance, for other source for the resources. So that desalination or water come from desalinated plant, desalination plant is their resources. So this is your flux, this is your resources to put it there. Some countries or some areas has more than resources. For instance, like some really very few line in Egypt, in the north coast, in the delta exactly. So they have two resources. They have in some season, in winter season, some precipitation, and they have also the irrigation scheme or its surface flow, what I said. This is kind of two that only small area has some like two resources. So in resources, you just put what kind of resources you have once you selected your domain. And infrastructure, this is kind of infrastructure that you wanted, that it's included in your domain. For instance, if you go for a river basin, so they have barrages, they have dam. So this is kind of infrastructure, you know, you wanted to include in this framework. And also demand and access. The demand and access, that you identify your user, the people in this domain, in this the selected area or your case study, identify your users who are using this water. Are there a lot, or maybe just one user, are the domestic, for instance, or it's only very huge agricultural land, so it's only for agriculture. This is demand for agriculture. So, and also, to identify access, but because access is quite really subjective and it's quite sensitive in some areas, so we collected them. But I will explain to you what is access is. What is access is access to water. Sometimes the water is available, but the accessibility is not there. It's not, you can't, it's not, it couldn't be found. So people have to go for miles to fetch for water. So there is a resources, but the access to there, it's quite difficult. It's not very easily accessible for them. So this is what RIDA frameworks state for. So for each category, there is checklist. So you just want, once you identify it, you need to know this, or you need to check this checklist. So for instance, you have resources like precipitation, for instance. So you need to know how much in space and time. So how much this precipitation, and for how long, and this is kind of questions. What's the quality? Is it a good quality? Well, sometimes it's not precipitation, it's groundwater. So is it good quality? Is it's drinkable, or it's usable? It's good to use. And who manages it? Sometimes it's surface water. So is it managed by several ministry, or managed by ministry or governmental agency, and also part for the farmer? So there are like mutual managers. So you need to identify this manager. And what's the rules? What's the kind of policy there? Who rules that? And what kind of this kind of like written and unwritten policies? If we go for rotation for irrigation, and there is some people irrigate before the others, this kind of rules you need to know. And what kind of financial and human resources? This is quite big, but if you have, like, as I said, it's very rough in rapid water accounting. So you need if there is kind of support, financial support for these resources. I'm not saying users, I say resources. Is this like kind of water harvesting for supporting that? So this is kind of financial for resources. So this is kind of checklist for resources. If we go for infrastructure, so if we go for if our domain or our area contains infrastructure like dam or barrages, you identify, maybe sometimes it has dam, and also there has like pumps that they needed to elevate the water from side to side. So this kind of infrastructure, what kind of infrastructure you have, you put, and for each infrastructure, what is the condition? If they already old, new, if they are needed maintenance, or does have like meters to account water, or they don't. And what is capacity? This is kind of, it's the capacity of barrages, capacity of the pump, how much water it pumps for the other side, and who controls it? Who controls it? If it's managed again by the ministry, only like governmental agency have the right to control that, or also there is another users, or there is another people who can control that. And who rules? What rules? If there are like kind of rotation, it's open, the gate opens for a couple of days and then closed, or it's already open. So this kind of, and also for the pumps, is it or 6 or 2 hours operation, and this is the rules, you know about this is infrastructure. And again, what is the financial and human resources for this infrastructure? And back to the last one is demand and access. So it's one of the most difficult. So because it depends on people who is already competitor. And in this process, you need to tell them that we need like win-win situation. It's not a competition, who needs more. It's about identify your user, identify their needs, how many, and how much they need, and how we can improve this. This is later, but for the current states, we wanted to know who are using the water and who are using the water, and how long and how much, this kind of things. And all these users are under same institutions. Sometimes it's like industry, it's like private sector, for instance, or sometimes it's belong to a ministry. So, and also, is there a legal framework that control all of them? Like sometimes in some countries, in case of drought, for instance, so my priority will goes to this X user, no matter how. And sometimes in normal year, it should be like divided like that. This kind of framework that control them, or not control them, but this kind of framework that they can be at least able to communicate with each other in least communication. So everything is clear for the moment. It's time for quiz, so please ask before I go for the quizzes. Okay, I think it's everything is clear. Is clear. So going for the third questions, I will go again to go to Mentimeter, either to scan the QR code or write this one, copy this one from the chat box. Let me go for this one. So I mentioned what kind of resources. So you are able to choose as many as possible. This is question, it's not only one or two. So what kind of resources you could have? This is surface water, groundwater, desalination, and pumps. So I'm waiting. I will wait for like 30 seconds. Again, I can't see names. I only see, like you see in the screen, only numbers. So go ahead and hit what you think it's right. So I think already some people already do. So since we are already still few numbers, so anyone has the courage to tell me what his or her choice and why is that, so we can discuss it together. Even in Arabic, I don't mind. Okay, I will explain. So surface water is kind of resources. Yes, it could be lakes, it could be rivers or streams. So this is kind of resources, yes. And groundwater, yes, it's kind of resource, of course. So the water, the groundwater, it's not that really accessible to be used, not kind of brackish water or salty water, to be just specific. So groundwater is also a resources. Desalination, yes. So some countries already actually, or like, it's only depend on the water comes from desalination plants, it's resources. And pumps. Pumps, it's not a resource. Pumps itself, it's not a resource. So how could you get from pump a resource? It's just like a tool to bring your resource to your land. So it's infrastructure, it's not a resource. So we can go for the next question. So I will copy, either to copy the code or scan QR code. And we go jump for part 1. Choose infrastructure. Again, for every, choose what, how many, choose them all or just one, so you have the freedom to choose. Did you get there, or I have to go for the slide again to okay. And we check. I will wait for 30 seconds again. I will go one by one again. So choose infrastructure. So treatment plant. So if it's in between your domain, yes, good. It's infrastructure. There is resource. There is water use there. There is like, maybe it could be a resources after that, but still it's infrastructure in your if it's already in your domain. Desalination plant, yes. If you are having water from the desalinated, if you have desalinated water, then your desalination plant is infrastructure as well. Tractor. Tractor is infrastructure, but not for rapid water accounting. It's for the farm owner. It's not at all related to you. It's for him. It's a tool. Not. It doesn't affect my rapid water accounting or my water accounting in general. So tractor, it's infrastructure, but it's not for you. It's for the people who are doing water accounting. And center bevel, exactly. It's infrastructure if you have like irrigation scheme, and this is irrigation scheme has center bevel or even drip irrigation. So you have this kind of what's the names? The pipes and bulbs, and so this kind of infrastructure, right? So you go to try it. Thank you. So we go again for the next questions. Please scan or.
Sorry, one question, Doctor. center pivot,
Yes.
how much do you expect to save in accounting? Just for my understanding, is it like with this method of center pivot, we can save 20-30% of the water, or what is it, or much higher numbers? How does that impact my accounting? I'm just asking curiously. You get my question?
It's not related to infrastructure.
Okay.
It's related to how much saving you mean in irrigation itself, right?
Yes, correct. If I use center pivot, I will save 20%, right? That'll show us savings on my water accounting eventually, correct?
We are here counting, not trying to save or trying to lose. It's the center pivot itself. I think it's in references. You can maximum 30-35% that it saves water. It depends on the technology there, in the sprinkler itself in there, and how many maintenance you do that, and there is no leakage, and there is a lot of there is a lot of factors that you can make it the maximum up to 90% efficiency, or for water transform, or water transfer, but or even 70%. It depends actually. I can't say specific. So I should go for the next questions. Hopefully more people already. Yes. So one more. Yeah, you got it all right. That's good. So all of them are demands, and I'm really glad that you acknowledged environment. It's very important, and it's very critical, and everything. You need to count for environmental water as well, environmental demand. So domestic. So this is kind of demand and water users, livestock, indeed, and environment and industry. So kind of like factories, like small workshops, they are all demands. Thank you. We acknowledged that all. It's very important to know, or at least to have like a basic about read and about how can you divide your resources and infrastructure and demand and access and the demand, let's say. Thank you all for that. Okay, I think I am just 10 minutes before the break. So according to our agenda, once we finish read exercise. So do you want to have anyone have a questions or a request? Otherwise, I maybe will announce a break for 15 minutes. Please please speak. Till now, everything is clear. You don't need to ask any question. In English, in Arabic, no? Okay, it's 16. It's 4:05. So shall we meet again in 15 minutes? So you have a break, and I can also pray as well. Thank you. Okay, I hope everyone is here already. We're still in process of rapid water accounting. The first approach, we said it's Riyadh. This is kind of identified us it's under identification for our resources, our infrastructure, our demand and access for what we selected for the domain that we already decided to study or to do water accounting on. The second step is called water uses or water fractions. This kind of approach will help you more to quantify the water, to see if there is kind of losses, if there is kind of gain somehow. It's a quite intensive, so I need your full concentration. And please, if you don't understand anything, or if you have, or if you need clarification, just pop up, because I can't see screen. I can't see you. I can't see you who raised his hand or her hand. So please just open the mic and try to interrupt me to see if you already have the clear information from me. So the first thing that it's consumptive use and non-consumptive use. So this consumptive use, this is the one we already use it for, we use this real water. A non-consumptive use, this is the water that it's, how to say, it's kind of losses. I would say that this kind of losses that we don't use it in our goods. So consumptive use, it's something we use it in goods, and non-consumptive use of water that it's among the system, but we don't use it. And this consumptive use, again, go for beneficial and non-beneficial. What's kind of beneficial? We say that everything is consumptive use and beneficial if the water brings us a good things. For instance, evapotranspiration from plants or from irrigated, or from even rain-fed irrigation. So this is consumptive use. This is kind of water. It was consumptive for the plants, and it used to have a product. It used to get us the product. Non-consumptive use, consumptive use, but non-beneficial, but still it's consumptive. This is kind of evaporation that came from bare soil or roads or reservoirs. Like this kind of evaporation, it's consumptive, but non-beneficial. So I hope it's quite clear for the moment. So consumptive use, that this water is used, and in beneficial ways that we have like product from it, like from evapotranspiration, we have evapotranspiration come from eating, or the plants we eat, or we use it for our goods. A non-beneficial use, it's still evaporation, like from bare soil, from lakes, from streams. Still, it's go for our it's already accounting for our consumptive, but it's non-beneficial. We don't use it. The non-consumptive use, that we don't consume it in producing anything. For instance, when we over irrigate a field, so there is some water is going for deep percolation. This kind of deep percolation, it could be recoverable. So it's going to recharge the groundwater. So it could be recoverable. So in another field or in another area, this deep percolation can be extracted as a matter of groundwater. So this kind of non-consumptive use is going, we over irrigate this excess of water, go for deep percolation, and then it goes for groundwater, it charges the groundwater, and then this kind of groundwater can extract it somehow in another area or in the same domain. Another non-consumptive use is non-recoverable. That again, if I over-irrigate, and this deep percolation go for a brackish groundwater, or not brackish, I mean very salty groundwater. This very salty groundwater that we can't use it anymore. So the deep percolation we didn't use. We have excess of water, goes for deep percolation, we didn't use, and go for this saline sink, and we can't use it. So it's non-recoverable. Sorry, it's non-recoverable anymore. We can't extract it from any other. It's go for the saline water, it goes to the sea. So we don't use it anymore. We can't recover to the system, so we can count it as kind of resources or kind of demands. Is it clear? Because it's really very important to understand what's the difference between them. Anyone has any question about that? I will follow by a slide with examples, so it could be clearer more. But it's not like once I explain it, it will be clear. It is still, it's a matter of practice and matter of knowing your system well. So don't expect that you fully understand these water uses from one session or from one slide. So to be like, make it more understandable or to explain it more, I put here the, again on the right side, the consumptive use and non-consumptive use. So the division between these kind of water uses. And we will try to apply it for, different field, different spatial domain. So if we have field level, just, can you see my cursor? Please, anyone can?
Yes, we can see it.
So you see my cursor, right? Okay.
Yes,
so,
we can see it.
Thank you, Isra. So this is only our domain. Please concentrate on that. I am not very interested. I'm not interested in any other area outside of my domain. It's just field level, just a small field or big field. It's a field level. So the rainfall, this is our resources. Okay. So 80 in this field. Can anyone tell me in which category in there that we can define? Is the 80 from here? It's consumptive use, beneficial. So we have inflow, we irrigated the land, and we have outflow. Okay, Isra, I can see your hand. Please go.
I might be wrong, but is it consumptive use non-beneficial? Or am I wrong?
Why it's non-beneficial?
Because it has evaporated rather than consumed for like human consumption, for produce or for plant growth? Or am I wrong?
Thank you for your interactions. It's a consumptive use. Yes, the half of your answer is right, but it's beneficial. Why I said it's beneficial? That we put water, we get products. What kind of product? It's not human use. I mean, in product itself. So the plant, imagine these kind of fruits, for instance, or potato, for instance. So we we use the water go there, and there is ET from this potato, and so the water goes. Sorry. So actually the plants got beneficial from this water. So the ET comes from it, it's beneficial because it came from a product from irrigated or even rainfed. So there is an edible plant or product that we had it from this water that produced ET. So ET is consumptive use in this particular area or particular domain. ET is a consumptive use and beneficial. Thank you, Isra, I hope it's clear for everyone. Otherwise, please raise your hand or just speak because I can't see all participants, unfortunately. Okay, going for capillary rise. In this, again, in this field level, how can you find the capillary rise? How can you define? Is it consumptive? Is it beneficial? Is it not beneficial? It's non-consumptive? Okay, I will, no one wants to give a shot?
I could try. I think it is beneficial, non-beneficial consumptive use. That's just me. I might be wrong. I don't know.
It's okay. We all learning. I told you it's quite difficult. It's not easy, and you need like a real case study to understand how can you figure out that. So what's your justification for being non-beneficial?
Because it's just being absorbed. Water is being absorbed by the plants, and I guess maybe it helps to grow. Yeah, perhaps capillary rise. So yeah, maybe I'm. I think it's beneficial then. Yeah,
yes.
Growing the plants. Yeah.
So if you dig more, it helps to grow your plants because capillary rise actually it happens in the root zones. So where the plant gets its food from water and other minerals. So yes, it's consumptive and beneficial. Thank you, Abrar. And this is, I think I forgot, this is deep percolation. So in deep percolation, I think this is one, it's easy because I already explained it, but anyone wants to share his thoughts or her thoughts? Don't be shy. We are all, we can't see each other and think so. Okay, again, the deep percolation, it's non-consumptive use. We don't, in this field, we don't use it. We just over-irrigate it from this inflow. And then from this over-irrigation, it happens there is deep percolation. And this deep percolation goes for groundwater level, which it might be consumptive in another field, in another domain. But this is not my concern. My concern is just this field. Okay. I hope it's a little bit clear, but again, I know it's not, and also it's not the best time of the day after complete like half a day and for lunch, a busy day for a conference and then for this training, and it's the last day. So I totally understand your tiredness, but I hope still you can see and you can at least capture some messages there. Okay, if we go for the scheme level, sorry. Again, how can you define ET? It's consumptive and beneficial because it goes from these schemes, it goes for plants that is edible, and it could be, it's beneficial. So we use this water to produce ET. And deep percolation,
Non-consumptive, non-recoverable.
Yes, in this scheme. In this scheme, but sometimes this deep percolation, it depends also if there, because this scheme is quite near to the river, and it might be that there is here like a well. If I put a well here, it could be recoverable because the deep percolation recharges the groundwater, and this will actually, if this is imaginary well, this well will extract from groundwater. Yes, thank you. And this is river scheme. So it has a lot of actions. So it's like a complete river basin, and it has some interaction. If we go there and say that there is an evaporation from this reservoir lake, storage lake behind this dam or behind this, how can we define this evaporation from this lake? Is it consumptive? Is it non-consumptive?
If no one's going, I would guess non-consumptive, recoverable, because you're getting it back as precipitation. So
in globe, yes, but still you concentrate in your scheme. And your scheme, yes, it's evaporation, goes to reform clouds and maybe go for precipitation for another area. It's not yours, you know, the hydrological cycle. So it might not be raining in the same area unless in Victoria Lake, because this is big and this is actually another scheme that what evaporates is already raining above it again. So this kind, it's non-consumptive, non-recoverable as well, because you don't know, it's going to evaporate, but you don't know where is going to be rain in your river or in another area. Is it clear, Abrar?
yeah, clear. Thank you, doctor.
Okay. And if we say, assume this is like forest, or not, or just a green area for leisure or for people, and it's like garden, and the evaporation from this green area, from these trees, how to classify it? Which category you put it in it?
Since no one is going again, I'll go non-consumptive, non-recoverable. Yeah. Last option. Yeah.
I'll go for
Yes.
consumptive beneficial. Let's see, maybe both of us are wrong. I don't know.
So we have two votes, non-consumptive.
Two votes, and both might be wrong, right, Abrar? Mr. Sayyid.
Maybe.
So I need to write it. Abrar, at what did you say, please?
I said non-consumptive, non-recoverable. You just lost. Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. And Isra, you said
I said the consumptive beneficial, so it's the other end of the spectrum, and I might be wrong. I know.
Okay. For Abrar, what's your justification?
It's just evaporation from the farmland. You're just losing out water. That's it. It's getting into the atmosphere, and that's it. Nothing. There is no recovery. Like you said, the cloud might go and fall somewhere else, even if it does. So all we're doing is we're just losing water from the green trees and the soil. That's it. So that's my
yes, but yeah, okay, but for the evaporation from reservoir, we said it's consumptive because it's already on our system. We use it. but non-beneficial. We didn't get benefit from it. So it's consumptive, non-beneficial for the evaporation.
All right, my bad.
No,
Me
it's
too.
okay. It's good to
Me
have.
too.
And Isra, what's your justification? You said consumptive and beneficial.
Yes, I said that, and it was a wrong answer because I thought it's within the scope. So if it's within the scope, it is consumptive, right?
Okay.
And I thought
Yes.
it's beneficial because it's went through the plant, so it did its work through the plant since it's evaporating. But maybe I have misunderstood this to be non-beneficial in this case.
So you say you correct your answer to be consumptive, non-beneficial, right?
According to your answer, yeah, I'm, you know.
Okay, it's yes, it's consumptive but not beneficial because this is kind of grass. It's kind of so we don't use grass in this case, huh?
Okay.
However, I will tell you my experience in one country, one of Arab countries, that we did water accounting on it. They said, look, we eat everything greens, even if it's a grass, we eat it. So in that way, it will be consumptive and beneficial because it produces what kind of plants. You know, there is kind of plants that once there is a rain or there's a water, it grows without any intervention from human beings. This is kind of grass and weeds and like that. So for some countries that we work with them, they say, no, we don't eat it, we don't feed our cattle on it, so it's not beneficial for us. So it categorized for consumptive use, but non-beneficial. But these specific countries, when we interact with the team, they say that, no, but this kind of weed or this kind of grass, we eat it. Otherwise, our cattle is eating it. So it's in that way, the same area, not the same area, I mean the same, the same case, still wheat or still grass, but in some countries it's consumptive, non-beneficial, and in some countries that are consumptive, use, and beneficial. Did you get what I mean?
Yes, thank you very much. So it depends the end use of the plant that you're using, right?
Yeah, indeed.
Okay.
The clear thing that consumptive use, beneficial use, that you put like this water, you use it in your system, and you use this water to have products, either to have plants or to have plants to feed cattle or to have something else. Good. Okay. The consumptive, it's still use it, but in non-beneficial way, like gardens, like national parks. Not national, I mean, not national parks in like in safari or something. I mean that the open parks in cities. It's just for later. So you just put water to have grass, you have nice flowers, but no one eats flowers or grass at day. Just the children or people eat. Yes,
Doctor, there's a benefit. When you look at flowers, you're happy. So it has beneficial use, increased happiness.
Indeed, in emotional way, but it's not in materialistic way. Unfortunately, that rapid water account it's concentrated in materialistic things. So thank you.
I was just joking.
Wallah, Doctor, I agree because if it's not like irrigated by rain, we would be using water, right? Yani we will be using water just for greenery and landscape.
What do you mean?
I mean, if we have the grass, it's well, yani bringing his point.
You can say it in Arabic if you want.
I mean the plant, the landscapes, الحدائق, احنا build it. Like he said, it makes us happy. So if it's not irrigated by rain, for example, we do irrigate it through municipal water, which is very expensive. So yes, kids do play on the grass, and if there's no grass, we will still grow it, and
that's why I said it's a consumptive, but non-beneficial.
But non-beneficial.
So just it's consumptive. In the case you said,
okay.
He was joking, by the way, but in that way, in the way you explained, it's still consumptive use. Indeed, if there is no way, if there is no rain, you put from municipality. So you put water, you deliver water to it. So it's still consumptive. You use this water. So you count it. You count it as a demand.
Okay.
For instance, for environment. For instance, if you have clear, it's clear for you now? Okay,
yes.
That's good.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay. If we say that is it clear non-consumptive use for unrecoverable, like deep percolation, or this kind of recovery? We don't use it, or we don't get the benefit from it. This is non-consumptive use. It's still we use it, but we don't use it in beneficial way, and we can't recover at all. Unrecoverable. So this is kind of deep percolation. And this is kind of deep percolation. Maybe I will be like hypothetical with you. If we have, if we go there for this water, okay? And imagine this is a canal and this is a drain, okay? And this is the water direction. Maybe I will try to use my drawing talent there. So this is water direction. The water is flow like this. And this is drain. Just a hypothetical. Huh? So this kind of is drain. And water go there, but there is not enough water to go there. So there is overflow from here to go there. And this farmer used this drain water to irrigate this part of land. This drain, how can the water in this drain, how can you divide it or classify it? Did you get the idea? No? Making you confused?
Go ahead.
Isra, please go, ladies first.
No, that's okay. In education, all is all.
Let's empower women in science. Okay, go Abrar. Let's hear you first.
No, it's just Azan, so that's okay. I would say consumptive beneficial, because you're basically using the drain water to grow something, so you're basically getting value from it. It's not being utilized.
Okay. Isra?
What is the end use of the drain, Dictora?
Maybe I will again do it clear or drawn. So imagine there is another field, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And all of them is my domain, okay? So this field and this field, okay? And this is traditional water, goes for canals. It happens in large irrigation fields, by the way.
Yes.
And he take more water than he needs.
Mhm.
So it happens that it goes to the drain because the land kicked out the excess
And-
water. Okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
and this drain goes to this other field.
Okay.
And the water from the canal actually it ends here. There is no water, or there is so little water. So this farmer used this drain to irrigate his land.
Okay.
This drain
Okay.
water, how can you classify it?
Consumptive, beneficial.
Yes.
الحمد
So it
لله.
is clear.
أول مرة وأنا نجحت الحمد لله.
And I appreciate so.
Fine.
So although, and if I took this only this domain, it would be non-consumptive because he doesn't use it, but it's recoverable because it's recoverable in another area. If I took only my original domain. But so the same water or the same item become from consumptive use, non-consumptive use, recoverable. If I enlarge my domain, it became consumptive use and beneficial. Is it clear for you for the moment? Or at least partially clear? Okay, silence again.
Completely clear for me. I'm good.
For me as well.
I hope for the rest. I hope I can hear your voices. So this is kind of things that you need to have a team. It's not about only one. And you can say it from another perspective. And also there is a lot of factors. Your domain, your how do you use it in your country or in your culture? Is it beneficial? It's non-beneficial. So there is a lot of of possibilities. And sometimes in real cases on ground, sometimes people spend quite time to define and classify water uses. So, and it's really very important because once you know what is recoverable and what is non-recoverable, you know how to use your resources efficiently. Because for instance, if you withdraw, if you have like wastewater treatment plant and it's inside your domain and it flow or its outflow, it's going to be reused in somehow. So it becomes kind of your resources because you can recover what is coming in the wastewater plant by reuse this water. But if you have in the coastal city, for instance, and after treatment and your wastewater treatment plant are on the coast, and after treated the waste, it's flushed to the sea. So part of your resources are not recoverable anymore because it's supposed to flush to the sea after treated, of course, environmentally restricted. And the environmental, we should be clarified for the be careful for environment. So it depends again in your spatial domain, your concern, your perspective, which way. Some people already said that we don't reuse water. We don't use the treated water comes from wastewater treatment. So it becomes non-recoverable because it's not source anymore. They don't use it anymore. So it's non-consumptive. it's non-consumptive and non-recoverable. So it's time for quiz, I think. So let's go. Hope we can do better than rest of people. I hope I don't lose you. I know it's the end of the day, so please stay focused. This is the first question for that, and I will copy in the chat the code so you can be able to, or why I copy for the code? I can copy for the link and directly go for the link. Yes. So I will go again. Okay. Which of the following is or are consumptive and non-beneficial water use? Okay. It's consumptive and non-beneficial. Huh? Okay, only two, no one more. I will give like 30 seconds. Okay. Okay, at least you figured out. So it's consumptive, evaporation from soils, and transpiration from grass. Both of them are consumptive, but non-beneficial.
Hey, I chose both, so that's okay. It was a risk, but it was correct, right? I chose both answers.
Yes, yes,
Good.
correct.
Thank
Yeah, the both answers are correct. Let's go for the second question. I will also copy the link. Please just go to the link, then.
Sorry, where are you pasting the link? Because I'm not able to see it. Is it in the chat?
I figured out it's on direct message, not for everyone. So.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay.
No, it's my fault. Sorry. So this is the link again. This is for this question on the screen. Salty or heavy polluted water body. Which definition or which classify you will put it on it? I will give again 30 seconds. If you need more, the rest of people, if you need more, just let me or just send me a direct message so I can give you more time to think about it. So, okay, one request for giving 10 minutes break. So please stay for me for just one exercise and we'll give you break for 10 minutes, okay? Thank you. Okay, salty or heavy polluted water. So this salty or heavy polluted water, I can't make any use of it. I can't even recover with it. I can't treat it. So actually it depends, it follow non-consumptive and non-recoverable. So we can't use it, neither we can't recover it. So the water body itself, not the deep percolation. Maybe some people confused because when they say consumptive and non-beneficial, they put there mind that maybe it's a deep percolation, go to heavy salted water body. No, the water body itself. Imagine that you have a groundwater in your area that is totally unuseful for you. It's totally it's a heavy salted and heavy polluted for it, for mineral, for instance. So you can't use it, so it's non-consumptive, and also you can't recover because in all way you can't make use of it. So the right answer is non-consumptive and non-recoverable. Thank you all for choosing that. And I hope the one who chose consumptive and non-beneficial, maybe he got confused or she got confused. So it's clear for you now. So last question before 10 minutes break. I will go again. And vote it. I hope everyone got the link now. Go for this one. Urban water use, like showering, like washing dishes or washing, washing your clothes and things. So what can you do? How can you classify these? We have one. I give you like more than 30 seconds to think about it.
Dictora, the link again, please. I missed the barcode this time.
Okay, I will go for the barcode.
Okay. Shukran.
Afwan. Anyone? Okay, 2. Okay, we have 3 answers. Anyone need to have like justification for it, for his answer or her answer? You say that urban water use, showering, it's consumptive and beneficial. So any?
Yes, it is something we consume it and we can reuse it as grey water.
Thank you, Asma, for your for sharing your thoughts. Anyone? Okay, Asma, it's part of, yes, please.
No, I agree on that. I agree on Asma's comment. Consumptive and beneficial. The same response, yeah.
Okay. This is one of the debatable question in all over training. So the right answer is non-consumptive and recoverable. Non-consumptive because we don't use it to make products. We don't use it to have something. We just clean our tools or our clothes. But recoverable, but like Asma said, it's recoverable because we can use it as a grey water. So by treatment, we can recover it and use it again.
So, excuse me, any domestic use of the water, it will be non-consumptive. That's mean only for agricultural purpose. It will be the one which is consumative. Am I right?
You are figured out most of it. It's not about certain, not for agriculture, but I mean to produce products. By cleaning yourself, you're cleaning your tools, you don't produce products. But for instance, you put it for dairy, you need, for instance, you need water to for dairy factory. So it's a consumptive. It's not non-consumptive because you use this water to produce products, not agriculture, but something to eat as well. So
I mean, I just have a comment on that. I thought about it exactly the way you did, but basically with the way I classify consumptive is if I pay money for it, like for example, for water to shower, we pay money, right? We pay so many halalas or so many cents for it. So that way I think of it as consumptive. Like for example, like the example you said for cows, the same thing. We actually pay money so that the cows can drink water and then produce milk and so on, right? So technically it can, in my opinion, again, it's like you said, it's quite debatable. It depends on what the international classification is. But if you were to think of us humans as consumers, like similar to the cows, then yeah, we are basically using it by paying money for it. So anything that I pay money for, I classify it at the back of my mind as consumptive. That's what I think. But again, I'll leave it to you. You're the expert in this. Yeah.
Thank you. It's not exactly like this. Like drinking water, use it to grow. It's beneficial for your body. But shower, it's not like if you don't shower for 1 week or 2 weeks or whatever, no matter what we can hold you before after that. But I mean that it doesn't help you to grow. So in our perspectives, that consumptive, something to make it a product out of it. Is it a plant product or like a solid product that you make use it for it? For instance, your water goes to the cow, okay? So it's kind of product. So it's a consumptive and beneficial. It's not a tea, but a drinking to make it meat with grass as well. So it's not about money, it's about product. If you think about that, something to produce product, not, you don't need to pay money for it. For instance, the grass I mentioned earlier in another country, in X country, that's a shade that there is rain-fed happen, that there is a grass and we eat it. So you don't pay money for the precipitation or for this land to make grass. So sometimes the grass came out after rain. So you don't pay money, but this grass used water, that this is your resources, one of your resources in your domain, and either someone go, like a human, go and eat it, or make his cattle to go and eat it. Sorry. So see, I think it's quite confusing by now, but this debatable. So if I were you, I would say it's non-consumptive because we don't use it for produced products, but recoverables. Like Asma said, we can recover it from gray water. But imagine that if this, like showering and this urban water use, goes to the wastewater treatment in the coast, where the outflow of this wastewater wastewater treatment plant goes to the sea. In that way, do you think, Asma, it's recoverable?
No.
Yeah, exactly. I think you get my point. So it depends, but we need to just, I know I told you this is not very, like, you can't figure it out from one session, But I mean by exercising, by knowing your area, by knowing your own environment that you are going to work on it, that sometimes you move between classification. But the basic that I say that consumptive mean we use it to produce product, whatever product is. Is it clear for you for the moment?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hopefully for others, thank you for your participation. We are like 10 minutes exactly. We'll have a break for prayer, like our colleagues need, and most of you. So it's now 5:15. We will come 5:25. Is it okay?
Perfect.
Thank you.
So it's 6. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. 5:30 ل5.
بإذن الله.
عشان بس نلحق وتقبل الله مقدم. هنخلص yeah. So I will start again. So we finished the water uses, and we know we knew now that it's not a matter of one time session or one time consultant. It's not a matter of one man show. That team from one person that can do it all. It's need a team effort. It's need different skills. It needs different cultures. You know, the environment that we are doing studies in it. So once we are done, it's already we can produce rapid water accounting report. From this rapid water accounting report, we can, after solving all the issue, we go through the RIDA, we go through water uses. So we can have from secondary data. You don't need to go to see that we don't have enough rainfall gauges. So let's go for satellite. If you have this satellite in your institution that it's already analyzed, it's okay. But if you need extra skill to do it, make it for the second cycle. So in this report, you can define the gaps, the challenges that you have, and what can be improved for the next step. So from teamwork, you can do it like that. And that's say it's a second cycle of water accounting. And we said it's advanced water accounting. This advanced water accounting, this is kind of the second and third and extra. But in this, it's useful to use technology. So you know that you have gap in evapotranspiration, for instance. You only have like, one gauge for evapotranspiration and 2 gauges for rainfall for very big, for a large scale area. So maybe now you can feel like I need to use technology for satellite of remote sensing of Earth observation, which now there is a lot of products that are available and freely available actually in good resolution. And also you need to know that you started to think about the spatial distribution. In rapid water accounting, we think about bulk, at what is coming in, what's coming out, what is recoverable, what is not recoverable. We think about bulk, quantity. But now you started to think about spatial distribution in every grid, if you wanted to make it like this. In every piece of land in your domain, what kind of distribution? For instance, if I take large scale, so this one it's only for agriculture. So maybe it's only for irrigation. And other land, it's mixed between industrial and domestic use. So you started to think more, especially more deep in your study area, and also ability to capture temporal change. We didn't discuss previously because I didn't want it to complicate it. In rapid water account, you may say that I will do it for 1 year. So the achievement or our goal for water accounting itself, you wanted to make it systematic, means that you wanted to make it periodically and systematic. So it can be every month, it can be every agriculture season or crop season. It could be annual based on hydrologic year, for instance. So this kind of temporal, we started to think about. In rapid water accounting, you just collect what is available. For instance, the countries we worked with, some people did it for 2012, some people did it for 2017, and some people do it for 2020. It depends how many data you have that you can at least see the holistic view about it, and you can see about and you can start to recognize that you have these data for this certain year. But in advanced, in the second cycle and third cycle, you started to think more about temporal. I wanted to make it like every year or every month or every season. So I think about captured the temperature change and the trend in this temperature. Provide wide range of RAND-related information about benefits and productivities, but this is maybe later, not in the second cycle, but more in the third or fourth cycles. It's still called advanced water accounting. And also to start to link about management. Again, in rapid water accounting, we didn't link about the practice and management. Some people started to say that you just captured the current, or you captured the year that you wanted to do your study in. You didn't think more about that. Just to give you like a solid about the gaps and the solid idea about the gaps and the solid idea about the challenges. But you need more data. You need to start to give kind of alternative solution, or you can give more realistic report about that. So comparison between rapid, comprehensive approach. Comprehensive approach, this is the from advanced, from second cycle until you say it's enough. I'm happy for what I have done. Not you, I mean the team is happy for what I've done. They are satisfied that this could be a final product that could be reproduced reproduced regularly. So in rapid, we say that we initial an identification of priority of problems, but in comprehensive, we aim to develop a comprehensive water information, not only from just scattered information, what we have, no, but in comprehensive, we have a solid techniques. We know how to fill gaps if we have, we know how to get information that we don't. And we have the people who has the skill to help us to do that among the team. Also in rapid water, we have initial assessments about the accessibility, quality, and the water supply and demand, like we practice in Riyadh and water uses. But again, in comprehensive, you go more beyond of secondary data and start to see in each aspect what kind of these users have this kind of supply. Is it enough for him? Sometimes not the same user, I mean the agriculture. In some part, they are satisfied and they have enough water, but like in downstream, they are not satisfied. So in these kind of things that you need to go for consolidation of your whole Riyadh you read a framework, this detailed information about resources and demand and access and infrastructure for sure. And also for Rapid, you started your stakeholder with the people you may know that they are going for, they are willing for help, they are believe in what you do in water accounting. But in comprehensive, you started like, or you establish something solid for like a platform or like a unit. Some countries that we have been working with, the ministries went enthusiastic and create a water accounting unit where this unit can take and can reproduce, can take information from different partners. They have this mutual agreement, and they can also have and they can also produce the water accounting. So if we say, for instance, so if we say in this advanced water accounting, we started to use multiple inputs and models. So we can use remote sensing, if we have fund, we can start to buy ground measurements for rainfall or for evapotranspiration, or you can even go to trace groundwater and see the return flow, for instance, from some lands. And also you can go for global hydrological models if you have the skills among the team, so they can use it. Or also go for, so all of them going for water accounting, and from this water accounting unit or team, they can produce either sheets, tables, or map. So water accounting itself, if we can summarize, it's a reporting. After all this work, it's done with a report that it's solid, that it's transparent, that everyone can see and everyone can understand. So after that, you finalize in which form you want. I will go after that to tell you how it's flexible to produce a report. So we need different skills needed for water accounting. We don't need only water experts. We don't need only agronomists, but we need some people are knowing modeling, hydrological, even coding and GIS, and also technicians who knows how to measure and how to put the instruments in the ground and how to take reads. So there is a lot of things you need. You need a lot of skills. In rapid water accounting, you start by the minimum, that's the people who want to do it. After that, from the rapid water accounting, you started to know what kind of skills you need. You might recruit some skills that it's not among all partner institutions, but you need it to produce that. So as I said, that the output of water accounting, that is readable for everybody and transparent for everyone who can see, it could be just a simple graph or simple report, just like that. We decided that this is the report that we will deliver from like yearly, annually, that every year we will deliver something. We just change the number here, and we just know that this is the year we are producing it, the hydrological year or the climatic year. Or we could have it in infograph. So we have a platform, like I said, that we decided that it's not a written report, it's a platform where everyone go and see the infograph there, here, that this is from Australian water accounting framework website. Here's a source. So every year, I think that here for the year ended 30 June 2018, they have this kind of infograph where they put the inflow and water flow in bulk, and also they can give you kind of how to say reader. So there is kind of resource, there is kind of infrastructure, and this is kind of demand and access. So they say that the demand decreased for somehow, or water use decreased in this date at 12 June 2019. Again, also in Australian Murray Darling Basin, they produce it in a chart. So it's not infograph, it's not tables, it's not a written report, it's about chart. Tell you about water and climate, rainwater and stream flow and storage, give you water use in by charts, and after all, it gives you water status in some figures. So this is another form of producing water accounting. Also, one of the output of water accounting is sheets about water resources, sheets about demand, sheets. But this kind of sheet is very specific for a tool called Water Accounting Plus. Water Accounting Plus is able to give you for a certain period, depends on the data input, because it's a tool. So it's based on Python code now. So if you inform it by certain information like land use, like precipitation, like discharge, like groundwater, so it produces to you different kinds, like 4 types of chart, and from these charts gives you an idea about your water accounting happened in this period that you already put in it. This is kind of output. This is for water accounting in general. Of course, it's a very simple. It's for the time constraint, but I hope I hope you can understand a little bit about water accounting concepts and what kind of approach and tools and how to do it. Going for key challenges. Of course, there is challenges, and there is a lot of challenges. But I think you can overcome it if you know it, and if you from your back mind you are ready to deal with it. This kind of challenges, it's a brief from our experience, IMI's experience of doing some water accounting in some countries. So terminology. So pay attention for terminology. So there are different perspectives from different persons. For instance, if you are water or agronomist or professional expert, you would say deep percolation. But for other users, for them it's losses. So try to be attention for terminology. So try to figure out your water users, your team, what kind of terminology they used for each item or for each parameter. And also the most common challenges in every project, not only in water accounting, the data availability. So there are some data, and sometimes it's scattered, and also sometimes it's scarce, but there is some data. But it's very difficult to trace this data, to know which agency has this kind of information. And if you know it, try to get it. So this is kind of a challenge. You need good connection and team harmony. We are human beings. So try to, when you have to form a team, try to have an open mind that everyone comes from different backgrounds, even if you are the same culture, but sometimes we are different. Each one is unique. So appreciate the knowledge that someone have it, no matter his background is, because every information in this step is valuable. So appreciate that and endorse your differences and uniqueness. And commitment between partners. This is something also challenges. If you have like a project, go for 3 years and have some challenges itself with risk management. Now for pandemic, it's difficult to have commitment between partners. Some people drop off, just they have like drifted for another project. So if it's quite long period to implement these projects, try to make partners commitment as possible. Try to make them in somehow not fully committed, because it's not compulsory, but I mean that try to make them commit to the work, no matter how, even for the least degree. But for someone drop off, exactly try to make it from one to another. One other more challenge is the nature of the study area. So some study area, although it's really very small, but it's very, very complex. So don't say that I will take small area because it will be less complexity. Believe me, some area it's how to say it, it's less than Faddan, which is 10,000 meters square. It's really very complicated. It's really very complicated. There was drainage system, was irrigation system, everything is cross-cutting, and some people already inside the land. There is a lot of activities in these small lands. So the nature of study area is one of the challenges. So this is also a challenge, and also awareness about how it's important to make how to make all actors know that knowing your resources and your demand and everything is important for everyone. It's important for sustainability. It's important for development. So this needs awareness. So this needs, like, since day one you started to do this, you need to devote some effort for awareness. It's not about let's do water accounting, so and then everyone will say let's do it. No, because sometimes what's the importance of it? It's so you need to, in every step since day one, you put in your mind there must be awareness between even partners, not only users. So, and the lead actor or the lead stakeholder, I think he has the burden, unless if there is a team and every task is divided by them. Coming for lesson learned that we learn also through our experience from previous years, and we wanted to share it with you. So the lesson learned that actually was key of success for us. It was adopt a common standard, not go for most complicated, just common standards between everyone, that to evaluate your resources and evaluate your assets to make it to improve management. Don't from day one go, I am going for using this code, which is needs like a servers for 4 days. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't work with everybody, and I think it's really work with everybody. So from just be basic, start from basic and from common standard, and then step by step you are going to evolve, you are going to improve, and I think by the end of the process you will be happy from what you have, because sometimes some area doesn't need this complication. As long as you know what you're quantifying your water, you're quantifying your resources, you're quantifying your users, you're quantifying the distribution and access is very well, then what do you need more than that? So you can plan for future, depend on that. And also one of the key of success, engagement of senior leadership. So you need to make them regularly engaged. So when you have from this agency, NGOs, governmental, everything, because the senior leadership is leaders are the decision makers. So no matter what you have in your hand with the technicians, you need the support of your decision maker. So try from time to time, go make a presentation or have a meeting, whatever it works for them. Try them engaged, try them see the progress. This is bring us to one of the first slides, that monitoring and evaluation. When they started to think, how can we monitor the progress? It's vice versa. They need to monitor the progress, and also you want them to engage in your process. So the cycles go. And also financial support. It's very important. It's really very important and necessary for some activities. Because as I said, financial support, you need to go to visit your study area, because not every study area is near for us. And sometimes it's like 1 day of travel, or even you need to take a train or a fast train or airplane to go there. This costs time, it costs money, it costs everything, it costs tools. So you need financial support. You don't need to be have like a big or have like a very big project, but still it needs financial support is really very important, because sometimes it hinders you from going even from the study area, because some countries we worked with, they don't have the cars that goes to these 4x4 cars that it's goes for desert or goes for this mountainous place. So they need this kind of equipment to just to go and see and evaluate the study area. And one of the important things, no fixed approach. For some people, this approach works, and for others, it doesn't. For some people, they used to use a tool, a ready tool like Water Accounting Plus, what I had, and some people just wanted to make it like more improvements than water budget. So they don't need like this kind of very huge or very complicated tool, but they just need a simple approach to do that. So there is no fixed approach, and sometimes these tools are necessary, and you can't do it without it. So what happened here, even in the same country, if you decided to do it in some parts you say that some parts you say that it's okay to do it in simple way. Some parts, no, we need satellites, we need image, we can do it with some tools like EEW, something like that, or Water Accounting Plus. So this is kind of tools that give you water accounting, but sometimes it's not. And also stability of the team is playing a session role. The stability of the team that came again for commitment, for people who want to do it from day 0 till end of the project. Because we faced that sometimes that the higher manager change, the team change. So we started again and again and again to make this team get involved with and continue the work the other people. So one of the key of success is stability of the team, and this is very essential. And since day one, think sustainable. This is, I think, the key message. Think sustainable. It's not a matter of I'm doing one-time task to make it out of my shoulder and then that's it. No, think sustainable. From day one, how to make it effective to make it sustainable. For instance, it's not in water accounting. Some people started to buy like an equipment that it needs a battery because it's remote area. It's a very expensive battery. So once the project is done, the battery, no one can, no one wanted to buy it because it's quite expensive. Or even satellite image, which is sometimes it's expensive because it's a very high resolution. So once the project done, the project, no one can support this kind of continuous of remote sensing or continuous buying battery. So since day one, think sustainable. Don't get the highest unless if you have guaranteed sustainability. And this is for water accounting. Now I'm going for water governance analysis. I will give you an introduction about it. So I will pause for 5 minutes for questions, for discussion. Anyone wants to say anything?
Thank you, Victoria. You said something about the software that is used for water accounting that you have mentioned. Can you just please list them again? That could help.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed this slide. I think now when I'm talking, I figure out what I should involve with, but I don't know why I missed it. It was there, but now it's not there. There's kind of tools that enable you to do water accounting. One of them is Water Accounting Plus, and one of them is called SWEW. I think so. I'm not sure about this, but I'm sure about Water Accounting Plus. Water Accounting Plus is developed by IHE Delft, and it was initially also by IWMI, I think. So, and SEEW. I think in the resources that I will give it to you in my last slide, I think they mentioned it. Otherwise, I'm happy to give you the names, but I'm sorry, I'm not sure. I don't know why the slide was not there anymore, but there was a slide where the tools was for water accounting, where there is certain tools that enable you to do water accounting. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you so much, Victoria.
You're welcome. Any other? Okay, I think everyone is tired. So I think I will not take more than maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, other than that, not more than that. So but come with along water accounting, there is water governance analysis, which is as known as water auditing. Why we say water auditing? Because water auditing is mentioned in FAO source book, but also it's a synonym for water governance analysis. And again, we adopted the terminology or the definition by FAO, and they say that water auditing goes one step further than water accounting. So by placing trends in water supply, demand, accessibility in use of broader context of governance. So in an institution, public and private, and legalization and wider political economy of water in a specified domain of interest. So water accounting, if we go there, you look at it as a technical person, you wanted to produce a simple report that everyone know about the status of water. But governance analysis, it's go further, because in fact, if you wanted to build a relationship between institutions, you need governance. You need something like kind of LOA, you need something like kind of legalization. So after water accounting or along with the water accounting, they complete each other. So water governance analysis, again, it's kind of cycles. It's you made first as a very quick time action where you put like, you have a team, you defined your actors. So these actors, you know, they're in each actor, you know, the legalization or rules that they want, they are doing for water sector, and you you know the rules, and you need to have like mutual benefit. So sometimes rules it's not good with the other partners. So you start to look about that, and you started to see if we can make it better. So from very quick time action. So this in time being this institution have this kind of rules. 2 long-term monitoring and evaluation programs that it achieves sustainability. That it's again this kind of rules who can connect all actors together that enable them for sustainable water or resources. So again, water auditing information is often diverse and tackles a wide variety of social concerns. It's not more about resources, infrastructure, maintenance, demand. No, it goes beyond for societal issues, for gender issues, for political issues, for economical issues. So this is more wider and along the side with water accounting. And why water governance matters? Because there are many calls that, for instance, in global water partnerships, forum, they mentioned that a lot of politicians, scholars, journalists, scientists say that the world water issue is primarily a governance catastrophe. So if you started to to improve your governance, the water issue could be improved. And also for, I quote this from World Bank again, governance elements have a significant role, not just in deciding a country's growth path, but also in creating policy. So you need creating policy to have like fair access for all users for your resources. And also governance and evaluation analysis is critical phase in programming aimed at achieving and maintaining acceptable levels of water service. So I think it's clear about that. It's about all about rules that govern water sectors, that enable them to have a win-win situation, enable them for sustainable use of our resources. So again, I will say that water accounting and water governance analysis complete each other. They are complementary. You can't do this without that. You still can do them, but it's not complete. Maybe I will rephrase. You can, but it's not complete. To make it a complete picture, so go along water accounting and water governance analysis. And for now, I reached my end of my training, and for this presentation, I left some resources, informative resources. One of them is water accounting and auditing source book, which I already captured a lot of and helped with us go through water accounting process for all countries, and also water accounting for governance and sustainability. And also there is a community of practice in water accounting where you can find a lot of audios in English and French about water accounting and about water governance analysis or water auditing. I would like to thank you for your patience. It's the third day, is the last day of your conference. I know you are tired and also at the end of the day. However, I would appreciate if you have a minute, not now at all, but if you have a minute to support us by evaluating my training to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Thank
Now
you,
I'm open
Marwa.
for discussion.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Dr. Marwa,
Thank you.
for this informative and well-organized training. And maybe we'd like to know the general feedback of the participants. It's the first training I attended with more participants than the beginning of the training, which seemed that they are interested in attending. So generally speaking, how did you find this training? Any feedback?
Yes,
You can just
yes,
say it. Yeah, please do.
yes. Well, thank you, Dr. Marwa, and thank you for the organizers. This was really a crash course and a beginning course to introduce this topic. I'm really new to it. Thank you, Dr. Marwa, for putting these quizzes. You know, at the end of the day, we were falling apart, but with those interactive quizzes, we felt like we have to sit up and participate and challenge ourselves. So thank you for that, and thank you for the resources. It was really nice.
Any other feedback?
Said here, I'm in Abrar as well. Thank you, much appreciated. It gave us at least it gave me, if coming from the industrial perspective of how the water accounting generally happens. And it was quite insightful and we learned quite a lot. And I think it's the beginning of learning better techniques, how to improve on water accounting and eventually contributing to the SDG goals. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. So Dr. Marwa, maybe we'll send you an evaluation form, but I think Dr. Marwa did a very good job, very informative and very engaging training. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dr. Nasreen. I wouldn't be there without you. I remember the first time that you bring me here and you said, what about doing that for WSTA during this conference? Thank you for your support, interest support, and thank you again for giving me the chance. And thank you all the audience. It's very nice, and hope we meet again somehow. You can always reach us. Amy Mena is just by your side everywhere. So we are available for your questions and for trainings or project support in the matters that Dr. Nasreen already classified. I would say that in this, that is already our working areas. Thank you all. Back to you, Dr. Nasreen.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Marwa. And maybe this will be also the first step in the training courses. Maybe we can have another enhanced training course, another informative one. Upon your request, we are ready to support WSTA in any form, and wish you all the best.
Dr. Nasreen, you have mentioned an event that's coming up in May. I just didn't recall. Was it on accounting as well, or was it a general event?
No, actually, it is on science policy dialogue to initiate a dialogue between policymakers, scientists, and experts on water use. Is something else, but maybe we can also be in contact with Dr. Al-Zubari also in organizing another event and engaging you with our activities.
That's nice, but this is something we can register for, the one in May?
No, it's a closed event with the League of Arab States. It's a closed event.
Inshallah. Thank you, Doctora. Thank you so much, both of you, for organizing.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. So see you soon, all. Bye-bye.
All right.